What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be discussing Sundial Growers, ticker symbol SNDL, and how there is a very interesting piece of news that we need to talk about CITADEL and Sundial Growers. So make sure you guys stick until the end of this video so you guys are up to date on everything that is going on with this Canadian cannabis company. We're also going to go over some of the more recent merger and acquisition news for Sundial Growers and the reasons why I think that Sundial is nowhere near close to finishing or being done with all of their acquisition and equity investment activities. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys would like to earn 2 free stocks with Webull valued up to $1,850, and this is a great way to help support the channel if you guys would like as well, because when you guys set up an account and deposit, I also get a free stock when you guys receive your 2 free stocks. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you check out that link down in my description. But if you are not interested at all, that is perfectly okay as well. And if you guys enjoyed the information that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So at the current time that I am recording this video, Sundial Growers has concluded the after hours trading period and is down about 0.9%, but then bounced up the same percentage amount, even though it really wasn't the same dollar amount in the after hours trading period. But this right here is showing the same actual dollar amount. They went up down a cent during the trading day and then up a cent in the after hours trading period. So Sundial Growers has seen a massive sell-off after their significant run-up, and we could see another run-up in Sundial Growers, but this really all hinges upon the overall cannabis market as a whole and legislation that we could be getting in the United States, which I'm going to go over in this video as well. So let's briefly touch on this legalization legislation. So coming over here, Cuomo legislature reached deal for marijuana legalization in New York. So this happened on March 24th. So this was about a week ago. So Governor Cuomo and legislative leaders have reached an agreement on a bill that would legalize recreational marijuana in New York. Now, even though Sundial Growers is a Canadian cannabis company, legalization in the United States would significantly help their business because they would be able to provide more sales in the United States. And if all of the other cannabis stocks are getting a bump in the market, odds are that Sundial Growers as an investment would increase in value as well. Now let's get into some of this merger and acquisition news. So I have been calling for Sundial Growers to really get into the merger and acquisition field in 2021. Now we've heard them talk about it a little bit, but it makes a lot of sense for them to do this. So we can see right here that the merger and acquisition activity in the cannabis industry could reach $2 billion this year. There has been a lot of mergers and strategic investments throughout the year, and we are not even close to done with the year yet. So we could see a $2 billion merger and acquisition market in cannabis this year, which could be very big for not only Sundial Growers, but the cannabis market as a whole. Now, some of the reasons why I think Sundial Growers is going to be engaging in these types of activities is we are looking right here at the use of proceeds section, scrolling back up from their most recent shelf offering. So if you guys did not know, essentially what a shelf offering allows a company to do is they register a certain amount of shares with the SEC, and they are able to withdraw from this shelf a certain amount of shares from time to time to issue on the open market without them actually having to file each and every time. So scrolling down a little bit further, we can see in this use of proceeds section, we can see we intend to use the net proceeds, if any, from the offering for the financing of possible acquisitions of or investments in equipment, facilities, assets, equity, or debt of other businesses, products, or technologies, and for our working capital in general corporate purposes. Now, they say here that we have not identified any single material use for which we intend to use the net proceeds. So the net proceeds from the offerings, if any, are not determinable in light of the nature of the distribution. The reason why they include this is because they do not know the amount of shares that they're going to offer from time to time or at any given price. They really have to figure that out once they are planning on actually initiating these offerings. Now, you might be saying, well, this is kind of far-fetched. We see this a lot in these use of proceeds sections of shelf offerings and direct offerings. But when you come over here, we can see that Sundial Growers has engaged in 2 strategic investments and acquisition opportunities over the past 2 months. So we can see this one right here. Sundial and Indiva announced $22 million strategic investment, which Sundial is giving to Indiva. So what is essentially going on here is that Sundial Growers wants to get into the edibles market. You can read through this, but essentially what they're doing is we can see we are delighted to welcome Sundial as a strategic investor in Indiva. The capital from this $22 million investment significantly improves Indiva's balance sheet, expands our working capital, and provides the resources necessary to support long-term strong growth in our business. And we can see Sundial's response. Sundial is pleased to support the development of Indiva's high-quality products. This transaction broadens our exposure to the rapidly expanding cannabis edibles category. So Sundial Growers is kind of engaging in, if you can't beat them, join them. So Sundial really is getting their arm into a lot of different places, which I think is very bullish for the company in the long term. Now, when we come over here, this is the second form of strategic investment that Sundial Growers has engaged in. So Sundial and SAF Group announced strategic capital partnership. So the joint venture will leverage a strategic financial and operational partnership to generate asymmetrically enhanced risk return opportunities in the cannabis industry to provide exposure to a portfolio of attractive debt, equity, and hybrid investments. So the initial commitment from Sundial is going to be $100 million. This is big, and Sundial has a significant amount of cash on their balance sheet. They've significantly reduced their debt, and they are planning on raising more money in the future. And their SEC filing directly says that they are planning on using these proceeds for investments. So this is big news for Sundial Growers going forward. Now, let's get into this CITADEL situation because it is very interesting and very comparable to what is going on with AMC at the current time. So there's been a lot of talk about dark pools, non-ATS data, over-the-counter trading. So let's explain this in full. So we can see this is going to be the over-the-counter non-ATS data details for Sundial Growers. And we can see that CITADEL Securities is listed at the top with a volume traded of almost 3 billion shares in the last period. Now, this does not specify whether these shares were bought, sold, or even being held at the current time by CITADEL. As you guys know, that CITADEL is a market maker and a clearinghouse for Robinhood and a lot of these other brokerages. So a significant portion of these shares traded, which that's what this is essentially representing. It's the total amount of shares traded, whether they are bought or sold, and they are going through CITADEL. Now, it's also possible that a significant portion of these shares is also a short that CITADEL has, or a subsidiary of CITADEL has. Now, at the current time, MarketBeat lists Sundial Growers short interest at about 10%. But as I've said in a lot of my videos, these companies with high short interest and the difference in the data that we see across all of the different data sources, and then we come over here and see that on the over-the-counter market, CITADEL is trading at such a high volume. I don't think that these short interest numbers are correct. And right now, we are seeing a lot of hedge funds, actually one in particular, it's going to be Archegos, is kind of defaulting and getting margin called and getting their positions forcefully liquidated. Now, if another hedge fund comes out and gets forcefully liquidated and needs to cover their positions, and they have a short on something like Sundial Growers, AMC, or GameStop, it is going to be an explosive move for these companies. Now, we don't know when this could happen or if it even could happen. You guys just need to know the possibilities of what could happen with these shares that you are owning. So this non-ATS data excludes the dark pool. So let's take a look at it exactly what is going on with the dark pools. So this is going to be the alternative trading systems data. Now, dark pools are an alternative trading system. So this right here, we can see that UBS, this is their dark pool, and we can see right here, Crossfinder, this is actually Credit Suisse, and they are the biggest dark pool in the world with about 5 million shares traded. The key thing about looking at this data, the most important thing that you need to keep in mind is that we don't know what it means. Now, what I mean by that is that we don't know if these are shorts, if these are trades being executed on behalf of others, or if they're just trades that these institutions are making. And that's what makes it, in my opinion, so important, because there's no reason for all of these different institutions to be trading in these dark pools in the over-the-counter markets unless they were trying to hide something from the public eye, because that's essentially what these are for. When you make a dark pool trade or an over-the-counter market trade, there are a significantly lower amount of parties that know about this trade. In dark pools, it's actually zero. The only people that know the trade is occurring are the people making the trade themselves. In typical OTC data, there is going to be about 2 parties that know about the transaction because there are 2 people coming together, having a meeting of the minds, deciding on a price and executing the trade. Now, it's slightly different from dark pools, and dark pools are a little bit more suspicious, but we are seeing a lower volume in these dark pools here. So this is very interesting to note, and it explains to me and kind of shows that the short interest for sundial growers could and probably is much higher than we are seeing on all of these other data sources. Now, sundial growers previously had an extremely high short interest. Now, what could be occurring is that all of these hedge funds are self-reporting their short interest, and they can lie. They can just come out and blatantly lie to FINRA and the SEC because the fines for actually misrepresenting the short interest data are so minuscule. We saw Citadel last week get hit with a $275,000 fine, and in the big scheme of things, that is pennies to an institution like Citadel. So it is actually in their best interest to lie to these institutions because of the amount of money that they are going to be saving from their over leveraging in all of these positions. So that is going to wrap up this update on sundial growers. Again, as I always say with these penny stocks, proceed with caution, but I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say in these videos is financial advice. These are for educational purposes and only. So you guys can do whatever you would like with your money. I'm just here to give you guys the most up-to-date information and provide my analyses on what is going on in the market right now. And it is a lot. There are a lot of things occurring right now, and it is helpful to stay up to date, to know and kind of get a better idea of what is actually going on behind the scenes. So again, if you guys would like to earn those 2 free stocks with Webull and help support the channel, make sure you check out that link down in my description below. And if you enjoyed the information that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and turn on that notification bell once you subscribe to this channel and join our family. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys are having a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.